For I think that the Most High hath set forth us the apostles last, as it were appointed to death, for we are made a spectacle unto the world, and to angels, and to men. 1 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 9. Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Racha, Kodash. Double honors to our venerable apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and blessings to the Lord's elect, the house of David. All right, so Brother Haran coming back at you with a quick lesson, Lord willing to be edifying and uplifting unto the elect. All right, and today is December 8th, 2024, the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble. All right, and there's a lot of things going on, especially the beginning of this month so far, with matters pertaining to so-called Middle East. All right, I believe it was yesterday or the day before, the president of Syria, all right, was chased out of the land, okay, by some so-called rebel groups. All right, so now you got, the whole entire Middle East so-called becoming a hot zone. All right, previously you had the whole Russia-Ukraine situation, which is more of a European kind of thing, right? But then starting of October 7th of last year into now, you've seen this whole so-called Israel, Gaza, Palestine whole back and forth war that they got going on over there. Now, we've mentioned on multiple occasions that being that we are in the end of the world, we're seeing all these end time prophecies coming to pass, right? We saw Yahushua mentions in Matthew the 24th chapter, Mark the 13th chapter, and Luke the 21st chapter about us hearing wars and rumors of wars. Okay, now one may wonder why the hell is all these countries, going at it out in the Middle East, and that's because the Lord is preparing that place, all right, for the ultimate final judgment, which is going to be through the war of Armageddon. Okay, the war of Armageddon happens, all right, in the so-called Middle East. All right, so now the Lord is preparing the kings. Okay, He's preparing the kings, all right, to bring in their armaments, to bring their asses over there so they can be destroyed, right? As is written in Jeremiah, that the least of the flock shall draw them out. That least of the flock is talking about Israel. Okay, now right now there's something known as the Greater Israel Project that's going on. Okay, now a few years ago, well, about over a decade ago, there was a video that came out of General Wesley Clark, and he was mentioning how he went into one of these military higher ups office, and they had a discussion, and he told him about how the U.S., the intelligence agency and so on and so forth, were planning to topple, I think 7 countries in 5 years, something like that. All right, and I believe the countries that he mentioned were, I believe he said Egypt, Libya, Somalia, Lebanon, Iraq, Syria, I want to say Afghanistan, maybe not. All right. And then, of course, you had, I think he said finishing it off with Iran. Okay. And all these countries that we mentioned pretty much are all in the Levant area. All right. What is known, all right, a little bit part from the Nile River all the way out east, all the way to the Euphrates River. Okay. They want to conquer all that land. Okay. They want to conquer all that land, which is the promise that the Lord gave to the children of Israel. But these Edomites want to take over that land. All right. They call it the Greater Israel Project. All right. So that's why you're seeing all these different wars going on out there, is because the Israelis are trying to push the people off the land so they can take over the lands and then use their so-called technology to bring in their New World Order headquarters over there. So that's what this whole thing is about. This fighting and wars and all these different genocide. It's all because of that. Okay. Now we understand that these are all part of end time prophecies, but remember, we are also waiting for the last major prophecy. All right. Especially on this side, on the west side, All right, before we see the destruction of America, Babylon the Great. All right, and that prophecy is the MOTB, otherwise known as the Mark of the Beast prophecy. All right, and we're fast approaching that prophecy, and we're going to go right into it. Okay, because we always mention how these articles that we bring out, these are end time prophecies playing out and are being documented. See, so when we bring it out, all we're doing is we're just highlighting, all right, the things that the Lord said will come to pass, as is written, 2nd Ezra 9th chapter, measure the times diligently in itself. All right, let's get that real quick. Okay. It's a book of 2nd Ezra chapter 9 and verse 1. It says, He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Okay, so we are always going to be measuring the times diligently, in the sense that everything that happens, we filter it through the scriptures. All right, and that kind of gives us a little bit of a timeline or a forecast of what's to come. Okay, how close are we to whatever major prophecies, all right, there are, which at this point we have the MOTB prophecy and the World War III prophecy. Okay, that's all gonna be encompassing of what is known as Jacob's trouble. Okay, so let's get into this real quick. I have a couple of articles really, and it goes into a theory that I have, and I believe I've mentioned before about the two countries to look out for. All right, in regards to this whole beast system, all right, is Australia and Canada. Okay, and I mentioned these two countries because we kind of got a blueprint of how things are going to be with those two lands during the time of the CV and post CV. Okay, so without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, first article says Australia rolls out digital ID system with plans for carbon tracking and social credit scores. Okay, so if you're, if you've been watching our videos and you're kind of in tune with what's going on, you should very well understand that sounds very much like the road to the mark of the beast. Okay, and as we read the article, it'll make more sense why I say what I just said. All right, it says the Australian government is making significant strides towards total digital surveillance. All right, the panopticon, Big Brother's watching. Okay, George Orwell's 1984. Okay, and control with the digital ID bill. Control. Once you have control, you dictate, all right, what people can and cannot do. And that's the whole point of this whole digital transformation, is to have complete control. Okay, it says which combines 128 personal documents and indicators into a centralized government system. All right, centralized meaning one being made into one. All right, you have the center. All right, cent one. Okay, and it says government going into what? Mind control. All right, system meaning pit. All right, so all indicators point to a centralized, meaning a one mind control pit. Okay, and that's a prison. All right, a prison governed by so-called AI. Okay, it says the system is designed to streamline identification across various sectors. Okay, radio frequency identification is going to be the last stop. All right, they can go through all the different identifications, but it's always going to end up with the RFID microchip. Okay, and that's the final goal, if you will. All right, so it says this system is designed to streamline identification across various sectors, such as banking and credit, and potentially extend to carbon usage tracking and social credit scores in the future. Earlier this week, the Australian government also implemented strict regulations regarding social media access. Okay, so while all these things are going on, all right, ESO is also pushing for the limitation of free information. In reality, they want to put a stop to the truth. All right, right before the MOTB comes out, the last thing they want is for their cover to be blown. All right, which would be a fulfillment of biblical prophecy. Okay, as a matter of fact, let's get that real quick. All right, Again, all these things are all going to be happening simultaneously. Okay. So this is the book of Amos chapter 8 and verse 11. It says, "Behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord Yahweh." All right. So it's going to be a double whammy. All right. Because remember, part of the end time prophecies is actual famine. Okay. Famines, pestilences, right? These are part of the end time prophecies. All right. That's going to befall the inhabitants of the earth. Why? Because of the wickedness and their rebellion against the Heavenly Father. Okay. So that's going to be a part of the suffering, but also, not having a peace of mind. Okay. Because the word, the comforter, is not going to be easily accessible as it is now. You see, so going on YouTube or social media and all that, you wait till the next big event happens where they're gonna have you actually identify yourself, in the sense of your physical identity will give you access to your digital identity. You see, physically we need to identify you, so whatever your digital self does, it can be traced back to your actual real self. You see, that's that whole social credit system and digital IDs and all that. Okay, because they want to build an online profile of you, the person. So when you get that MOTB, all right, it's a seamless transition. Okay. So continuing, it says, children under 16 will now be banned from accessing social media, which many see as a precursor to more widespread bans for users of all ages. That's right. That's right. And soon you're going to see the banks, all right, playing a role in that. It's always going to go back to them too. Okay. It says, critics warn that this could serve as a means of further controlling online discourse by enabling the government to restrict access to social media platforms at their discretion. Okay. And it sounds very much like, remember, it says they restrict access. Okay. When you translate that to the money system, when your access to money becomes restricted and it becomes conditional. Okay. If this, then that, then that's when you're going to see that prophecy be fulfilled. Okay. Causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell. That's the trick. That's the restricted access. You can't buy or sell except you come and take this thing here. And we're fast approaching to that. Okay. It says, social credit scores. It says, the expanded Australian government digital ID system, otherwise or abbreviated as AGDIS, is rolling out in 4 phases in the coming year, which may overlap or be preceded by pilots. All right, which is the tests that they do before the actual thing. Okay, a small little test, if you will. It says the digital ID bill passed the Australian Senate in April this year, and critics warn the growing push for carbon tracking and social credit scores in Australia present significant threats to civil liberties and privacy. Okay, and again, Canada and Australia. Okay, for me, I believe Canada is going to be, they'll usher in the MOTB system, kind of like the George Orwell way. And then Australia does it in the kind of like Aldous Huxley way. What do I mean by that? You have one that is the people get seduced by convenience and luxury and this concept of pleasure, right? They seduce them to the point where they use these comfortable mindset kind of things that people are pushing for nowadays, which is you can do whatever you want, and get your body to be merged with technology to improve you as a creation, right? How the Lord created you is not good enough, so we can make you perfect by merging you with technology. Look at how cool this can be, right? So you have that aspect which people willingly do it, and then you have the other aspect which is more of a governmental oversight, but is done in a draconian manner. right? We're just leading you along the way. And if you don't comply, you get reprimanded for it. That's the Orwellian way. So these two ways are being done simultaneously in two different lands, right? And then they'll merge all that into America, which America is the main event, if you will. Okay. I hope that made sense. So continuing back in the article, it says, social credit scores which track individuals' behavior across various aspects of life, including financial transactions, right? How you spend your money, right? And so on and so forth, right? Social interactions, who you talk to, who you dealing with, who you surrounded by, right? And online presence, so your social media accounts, what you're posting, what videos you're watching, what videos you're commenting on, right? That goes into what? TTID, tag, trace, identify. Okay? It says they all pose an obvious threat to freedom of speech and privacy. Well, those two things, they disappeared a long time ago. Okay? This whole everybody's sensitive type of bullshit, that's caused freedom of speech to be no longer freedom of speech, but more permitted speech, right? You can't say this because people might get offended. See, we can't say what we really want to say because they might strike your channel down. That's not freedom of speech. You know, certain things, oh, that's medical misinformation. That's not freedom of speech, right? When you have corporations that come together and in order to stifle people's ability to learn the truth, they deem the truth misinformation and hate speech so they can take it down. That's a wicked ass society, man. That's a society that's leading straight to their downfall. Okay? Because when you start pushing this rhetoric that the words of the Lord, all right, are deemed as hate, then we got a problem. And that's exactly what they're doing. All right? Don't be fooled by the BS narratives that they keep pushing. That's exactly what they're doing. All right. And soon they're going to tie in the scriptures or the Bible, all right, with a form of hate or anti-Sem or whatever. They already started pushing that rhetoric, but soon it's going to be, it's going to be a thing. It's going to be a thing. All right. So continuing, it says, let's see. It says the system works by evaluating citizens based on their activities, both online and offline. See? Damn. Potentially punishing those whose actions or opinions do not align with state-approved standards. All right? State-approved standards. So now, that again, that's the beast system. Okay? AI, we're not going to be interacting with people anymore. It's just going to be computer. All right? Numbers and algorithms and stupid shit. And guess what? If you don't, if your numbers are not aligned with the numbers that are programmed to be expected, you ain't gonna make the cut. You could be that close. Okay. It says in China, a social credit system has already been implemented, and its potential for abuse is widely discussed. Citizens there face consequences ranging from travel bans to social ostracism if their scores fall too low. Right? That was actually a episode in Black Mirror. Right? Social credit scores and all that. Right? I'm gonna have to go back and watch that again. Anyway, continue. Says the risk is that similar measures could be used in Australia, where the government could restrict access to services, travel, or even employment based on an individual's social credit score. Monitoring infringes on personal privacy, as every action and interaction becomes a data point used to assess an individual's worthiness in the eyes of the state. So they want to be like the Most High. If you don't worship, meaning if you don't comply, all right, with their new ways of living, then you're not going to be reverenced or deemed worthy, all right, in the eyes of these elites. Oh man, it's funny. All right, so carbon footprint, right, goes into the 666. All right, I broke this down before. All right, the carbon is the has what six. Carbon is the sixth number on the element table. Okay, and it has six protons, six neutrons, and six electrons. Okay, so carbon, all right, it's very interesting that they'll use that. And then you go into the word foot. All right, the word foot is a form of measurement. Okay, that's where you have 1 foot, 2 feet, 3 feet, right? So it's a form of measurement, right? So carbon measuring footprint, the print, all right, goes into charagma, to print something, to mark something, to etch something. Okay, so in order for them to be able to track people's behavior and, your patterns and so on and so forth, is going to be done via way of a radio frequency identification tracker. Okay, and it says if a government can track and restrict an individual's carbon emissions, it might begin regulating personal behavior in ways that affect day-to-day life. For instance, it could impose penalties or restrictions on the amount of energy you use in your home, the kind of transportation you take, or even your dietary choices, all based on how much carbon you are deemed to be emitting. It says this could lead to a social credit score linked not just to behavior, but to environmental impact, where individuals who exceed a certain carbon threshold could face restrictions or penalties. All right, now who the hell wants to live in a world like that? But this is exactly what's coming. Now, people might say, oh, I don't want to live in a world like this. When it happens, I'm going to fight it. Well, guess what? It's happening subconsciously, though. It's happening quickly, right? But it's happening gradually. Hence, accelerated gradualism. Okay, so it's being done in a very deceptive manner, all right? And these people are not seeing it. And those who see it are called misinformationists, conspiracy theorists, and so on and so forth. Okay, now this leads me to the next article, because we just read about Australia. As a matter of fact, let me see something here. It says, let's finish off with this last paragraph here. It says, as these systems roll out in Australia, right, they represent a chilling reminder that the balance between societal benefits and personal freedoms must be carefully maintained, or we risk living in a future where our every action is tracked, scored, and regulated by the state. That's coming and it's fast approaching. How are they going to be able to regulate? Through the RFID, you know what? Okay, through the RFID, you know what? Okay, and now the next article goes into Canada. All right, it says, Canada announces firearms ban as Trudeau seizes Canadians' guns and forces weapon donations to Ukraine. It's very interesting, right? And all throughout history, whenever a government or a king or a leader of a nation or a people disarmed the people, it was because they were getting ready to come after the people. Okay? And we've seen or heard the rhetoric of the Second Amendment is not a right. It's not really how it's supposed to be. We got to make some amendments here. You got to make sure we ban these kind of weapons and all this extra shit. So even here in America, they're pushing this rhetoric of people not, being able to defend themselves in case the government wants to come after you. Right? Right. Let's read. It says, Canada's Trudeau government has just dropped a bombshell. A nationwide firearms ban forcing citizens to surrender their guns for Ukraine's war. Outrage is erupting as freedoms are trampled, rights are stripped, and Canadians are left defenseless. Is this public safety or authoritarian overreach? Well, the scripture says that they had two horns like a lamb, okay, but they spake as a dragon. Okay, now that's predominantly talking about the two political parties here in America, but Canada is influenced by America too. Okay, Canada is heavily influenced by America, right? Because those who influence America also influence Canada. All right, and even, what's his name? Klaus Schwab said it. All right, he mentioned that and mentioned him by name. He said, President Trudeau, all right, Vladimir Putin, these are some of the young global leaders. Okay. He mentioned, what's his name? Macron from France. Okay. So just keep in mind that these people are working for the left-hand side, and they're not so much for the people. All right, at all. Anyway, continuing, it says, yep, let's read. It says, in a jaw-dropping display of authoritarian overreach, Justin Trudeau's government has unleashed a new firearms ban, stripping Canadian citizens of their rights and forcing them to hand over their legally owned weapons to Ukraine. That's crazy. Yes, you read that right. Your personal property is being confiscated to arm a foreign war. This isn't just a policy change, it's a brazen assault on freedom and a slap in the face of hard-working Canadians who value their safety, rights, and sovereignty. Well, they really don't, because if they did, they would have been taking that guy out a long time ago. You see, but that's why the whole world, everyone is being pushed to, oh, you can't hate. We got to do something against hate, because they're tying in people who might be non-compliant or might be able to vocalize the obvious. Okay, they're deeming us as hateful. You know, they're tying us into the concept of hate. So if somebody was to get up and say, yo, what these governments are doing is wrong, right? And we need to band together and stop it. They're going to say this guy is spewing hate. We need to do something about him. See? So that's what's going on. So now people can't really speak the truth because they're going to call you a hater. See? But that's why the Lord chose specific men on this earth who are not going to worry about what these people have to say, because we're not here for you. We're here to serve the Lord and to give a message onto the elect. So if you're not receiving it and you're going to call it hate, then it doesn't really change anything. It doesn't change the fact that judgment is still coming, right? It doesn't change the fact that we're right and you're wrong, all right? It doesn't change the fact that America is going to be destroyed by thermonuclear fire. It doesn't change the fact that the whole entire world is going to be under pressure, all right, by the MOTB being mandated upon the face of the earth, and it's going to be on the penalty of death, right? All these things are going to happen, whether you like it or yes. So you could call us whatever you want to call us. At the end of the day, it's still going to happen, and it will happen. And most of you who listen to us, it's going to happen in your lifetimes, right? I'm not talking about those who are in the truth. I'm talking about those who are out not in the truth, but they scoff like they got something special that's going to protect them. I'm talking you niggas. All right. And when that judgment comes, yeah. So continuing, it says, let's see, let's jump a little bit here. Right, it says, the Trudeau government, emboldened by years of unchecked power, is now dictating what Canadians can and cannot own. Guns that were legally purchased, responsibly used, and deeply tied to Canadian culture are now being yanked away to be shipped to a war halfway across the globe. Well, it starts with the guns, and then soon it's going to be the people. All right. A lot of people are about to be drafted very soon because the war is picking up. Okay. And it's all being done at the behest of Israel. All right. Israel is the one they're basically the masterminds of all this war that's going on around the world. Okay. It's never been peaceful in the Middle East ever since these devils stepped foot over there in 1948. All right. It's been war after war after war after war after war. And it's all leading to the Third World War. Okay? So you tell me if those are God's chosen people or not. All right, so continuing, it says, yo, this is crazy. It says, Public Safety Minister Dominic LeBlanc delivered the chilling proclamation. There's a quote. It says, This means these firearms can no longer be used, end quote. Whoa. No nuance, no consideration for law-abiding citizens who have relied on their firearms for hunting, sport, or self-defense. Just a cold, bureaucratic order to surrender your property. Okay? And hey, they can't tell us to surrender our God. That's our defense. Okay, you people trust in man, and if a man ain't pulling up, you trust in weapons. You know? We trust in the Heavenly Father and His Son. Okay? That's who we trust. Okay? Like they say, in God we trust. Well, we actually embody that. In Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua we trust. Okay? And once you put your trust and your confidence in the Lord, you get delivered, man. Okay? Because you're going to do the things that's pertaining to salvation. It's very simple. It really is. Okay? You're going to seek the ways of salvation, then hence you will be delivered. Okay? It says, and for what? Going back to the article. To arm Ukraine in their fight against Russia, a noble cause, perhaps. But why is the Trudeau regime treating its own citizens like disposable pawns in this geopolitical game? It says the Trudeau government is wrapping this policy in a thin veil of international aid, claiming it's all about helping Ukraine. Defense Minister Bill Blair smugly declared, quote, every bit of assistance we can offer to the Ukrainians is one step toward their victory, end quote. Yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy. This is a desperate attempt to deflect attention from Trudeau's disastrous domestic track record. Inflation is crippling Canadian families. Oh, yo, their inflation was crazy. I think a few months ago, I want to say about almost a year ago, I saw a video where there was a couple that went into a store and they bought like chicken, I think it was rotisserie or something, like chicken. And man, that was like $109, $112 or some shit for like 16 pieces or something that it was, but it was chicken, or maybe 6 pieces. And they were like, yo, look at this. And they put it right back. I said, nah, that's crazy. That's crazy. So yeah, that inflation that's crippling Canadian families, man, it's not just Canada, it's also here in Babylon, okay, and around the world, okay, because it's all carefully orchestrated and designed to go this way. Okay, it says housing prices are spiraling out of control and public trust in Trudeau's leadership is at an all-time low. Yeah, because he played his hand. All right, he showed the people that he ain't for the people. He works directly for the WEF. They've shown the world where they stand. So he says like people it's like these stupid ass Americans talking about they gonna vote. It's like the past 4 years they've shown you where they pledge their allegiance, man. Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and all these damn demons. All right, they show you. All right, every day they show you that we doing things to hurt the American people. Joe Biden, all this clown ass shit going on. Hey, but yet these dumbass people, we gonna vote. Voting is casting your consent, all right, to whatever is about to happen to you in the next 4 years, man. All right. It says so what does the government do? It pivots. It finds a shiny object in this case, Ukraine, and hopes Canadians are too distracted to notice the authoritarian noose tightening around their necks. They're not going to get it. They're not going to realize it. It's going to be too late. Okay. It says Canada's descent into authoritarianism didn't just happen overnight. In May 2020, Trudeau banned over 1,500 makes and models of firearms under the guise of, quote, public safety. Last month, this ballooned to over 2,000 models, and now the gloves are off. With this latest decree, firearms aren't just being banned, they're being confiscated and repurposed. Damn. In other words, they're being stolen. Your gun, bought legally and stored responsibly, is no longer yours. The Trudeau regime has decided it's better off in Ukraine in the hands of someone you'll never meet, fighting a war you had no say in supporting. So is it really for the people and by the people? No. It says to sweeten the bitter pill of this sweeping firearms ban, the Trudeau government has promised investments in border security to track down on gun smuggling and trafficking. Let's get a little bit of this, right? It says Canadians aren't taking this lying down. Social media has exploded with anger and disbelief. They're tracking all that. Okay. Citizens from coast to coast are demanding answers and action. Yeah. So it says, quote, "This is a dictatorship, not a democracy," end quote. One furious Canadian tweeted. Another one says, quote, "First they banned guns, now they force us to send them to Ukraine. Trudeau has lost his mind," end quote. Shit. Wow. President-elect Donald Trump is already waiting. Ooh. All right. Let's listen to what this guy Trump is saying. He says, President-elect Donald Trump has already weighed in using Canada's situation as a warning to Americans. Ooh. He says, what's happening in Canada is a disgrace, Trump declared. We will never let that happen in the United States, not on my watch. Yeah, right. We're going to see all this shit happen on your watch, buddy. All right, it's just a few more weeks left, and then we're going to see some fireworks. Okay? They're talking some peace shit over there in the Middle East, man. I said, man, look, you need to stop. Peace. Scripture says, when they shall say peace and safety. Okay. So like, yeah, I'm just gonna skip this real quick. All right. Yeah, man. So I'm gonna leave it off there. I think the point has been made, which is watching for these two countries, which are Canada and Australia, and seeing what their next moves are gonna be in regards to bringing in this MOTB system. Okay, and I believe Canada is working to disarm its people so that they can make their move, right? And Australia, you know, they're sinking their teeth into their prey, all right, by shutting down the system, you know, putting them in that cage, digital IDs and all that, you know, and it's leading to the MOTB. All right, definitely leading to the MOTB, man. You know, but yeah, I just wanted to tap into those real quick, you know, just to keep you abreast on what's going on. Lord willing, you are edified and informed. In closing, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rachak Wadash, the water Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, and until next time, Shalom.